Hello, everyone, and welcome back to UHL. On Friday night, we have another match for you with Nate Wolf versus Versika. I am Wicked Good. I am here with my good friend Boticus. How you doing, Bot?
Doing great. I'm so excited. I haven't been able to do a cast in a while, and I get to do it with my good bud, Wicked Good. It's going to be a fun time. We got an awesome match coming up for everybody today with some kind of sweet restrictions.
Yeah.
Excited to watch it.
Yeah, so this is going to be a very fun one. So we have Nate Wolf and Versika. I have since we started doing the full casting for season 2, I have desperately wanted to cast one of Versika's matches, and the times have just not lined up. And I am so happy that we finally get it to work the last week of the season, and this is going to be a fun one. So, basically, I'll go over the rules real quick. Not that they're really going to apply this week, I think, but
Well, I mean, we're in week 7,
yeah.
so it seems like most of the brackets are kind of already fleshed out. So this is more of like a not a promotional match, but like a
Exhibition.
kind of exhibition match. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to put it. Between a couple of these guys, so they decided to kind of forgo the standard of bringing, meta decks and came up with their own rule set.
Yeah, so, I have the rules up as much as they apply for right now, but, so it is week 7. This is the last week of the regular season. The playoffs for both of these players are pretty much set. Versika is not eligible. I think Nate is, I don't know if he's in or out, but whatever he does this week doesn't matter. So ultimately this is week 7. Normally, in the first 6 weeks of the season, you bring 3 classes each week, and then you can't bring them again until all 9 classes have been played. This being week 7, the players have free reign for whatever classes they want to bring with no restriction because the next week is playoffs. So since both players have nothing in terms of playoffs riding on this, they decided to make this a unique deck building challenge. So what they've done is they've said that each deck can only contain cards from a single expansion along with basic cards. So Nate has Mage, Priest, and Warlock. Versika has Shaman, Warrior, and Druid. And that is all we know, because we have both decided, Bodicus and I, that we're going to be surprised like you are. So we don't know what's coming any better than you do, and I'm just excited to see what these players have come up with.
Yeah, me too. I have no idea what to expect. This is my favorite kind of casting because we get to just kind of think. I mean, it's gonna be weird because I don't know if they chose all standard sets. I assume they might have chosen all standard sets, but if they chose a wild set and I don't know some of the cards, it'll be real interesting to try to figure out kind of what cards they ended up putting in their decks.
That's right. You only started playing seriously in Ungoro, didn't you? Oh, this
Yeah,
could be very fun.
about Ungoro is when I started. So we'll see if they stuck to all standard sets. But I'm interested to see either way, and then we can think about all the cards that can be in the deck and what there's not going to be in the deck. It's going to be a fun series.
It's going to be very interesting. I mean, Nate does do a wild podcast, so it's possible that he picked some wild cards, wild sets.
Yep.
Goblins versus gnomes. Let's go.
Oh no! Wouldn't you just pick Naxxramas for something?
I don't know.
That
Doctor Boom for days. Mustard for battle.
Yeah,
Let's do
that's
it.
A good one.
All right. So why don't I don't think we need to lead this in anymore. I don't really think we have any expert analysis to add. I think if you want to just let the players know that we're good to go,
let them know to start,
and we'll start. We'll start spectating as soon as we're in. I don't even know what to expect. I'm trying to think of what sets could go with these classes. I mean, presumably the Warlock would be Kobolds and Catacombs, I would imagine, given that every good Warlock card comes from that set. Probably the same thing with the Druid and Knights of the Frozen Throne.
Yeah, you could just like make Q block with with knights, right?
Basically. I mean,
Oh no.
you'd have to do it without
'Cause you would get
Doom
gold
guards, but other than that, it's so
yeah.
okay.
Well, let's
so,
just get into it. Let's see.
Yeah, you go ahead and get started. I just need to figure out where.
Yeah, I'm
which
just
one, who I have on the bottom and who I have on top. So we're gonna get in.
Looks like we have.
Oh boy,
I believe this is gonna be Nate Wolf is on Priest, and Versika's gonna be on Druid. And based on what I'm seeing from Nate Wolf, it looks like the set he has chosen has Shadow Essence, so we might be getting a little bit of a wicked good special here.
Yeah.
Maybe some big priest going on.
Possibly. I actually am finding that I don't have Versika on my friends list, so I am desperately trying to get him get his battle tag. So. Yeah.
I assume you can see Nate Wolf's side at least.
Yeah, so we'll spectate from the everything will be upside down for this first match, and we'll get Versika in as soon as we possibly can. So this is going to be flipped over until we get through the next match, and then we'll fix that between matches. So
okay.
Yeah.
And I believe Fungalmancer's Kobolds and Catacombs, right?
Fungalmancer is Kobolds and Catacombs, yes.
Okay, so Versika has chosen Kobolds and Catacombs with Druid. That means he gets some really sweet cards like Branching Paths, Ironwood Golems, Fungalmancer, just kind of looks like a mid-rangey, minion-based Druid deck, which he had Wild Growth on turn 2, which is about as good as it's gonna get. But Nate Wolf's hand started out with a couple Mind Visions, getting some sweet ones from Versika there.
Yeah.
And
Astral Tiger. So this is this is definitely a Kobolds and Catacombs showdown. Oh no, Kobolds and Catacombs Knights of the Frozen Throne rather. My bad.
Right. So Shadow Essence coming out. Ooh, yep, there's the Lich King. Okay, so I was wrong. So this is just all
Knights of the Frozen Throne, yeah.
Oh no, Knights is Wolf. The way he got the Fungalmancer is from the Mind Vision.
Oh, okay. I get jokes. Yep. Okay.
Ooh, Eternal Servitude. That can get back a Lich King. And it's going to. Pretty strong there. Deathly Decay, usually like a very strong card, but if I'm just looking at all the cards in Versika's hand, it's like, doesn't seem like it's gonna do a whole lot of work, actually. Just all of the stuff in Versika's hand is big, or it makes things big. So, pretty interesting. I'm trying to think of some of the other cards, because there's going to be so many, like, lesser-known cards. Like, I guess Astral Tiger is definitely one of them on Versika's side, but just trying to think what his best line of play is here.
Yeah.
Kind of wonder what else this Oaken Summons is going to pull. Oh, looks like he's going to go for it, so we'll find out right away.
Right away, yeah. And we have Versika's hand in the spectate mode now, so apologies for that, but we're all set now, so...
Good old Taz Dingo. Haven't seen that card in a minute. I wonder if he plays Chillwind Yetis too. That's a pretty sweet one to pull out with Oaken Summons.
I mean, that makes sense with Oaken Summons. I mean, that's the best 4-drop you can get, right?
Okay, gonna go with Branching Paths here. Not clearing this Lich King out, actually, this turn. Kind of an interesting choice. Ooh, doesn't make the trade either.
Yeah, so we got a Holy Nova coming into the hand for Nate. And Starfire could answer one of these really nicely.
Yep.
There's a sentence I haven't said in a long time.
Yep, and we're gonna get another Lich King card here.
Yeah, there we go. There's Eternal Servitude. Now we're talking. Yeah.
Oh, man. I gotta think what else is in... I wonder if he's playing Anduin. I assume
I
you
would
would play it-
imagine. I would
probably be
imagine you have
playing
Shadow
Android.
Essences in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this is basically this is like the big pre-shell, right? So
Right.
you got Obsidian Statues, you've got Anduin, you've got Shadow Essence, you've got Servitude. You can't run the Spellstone, but that's okay.
Okay. Ends up taking 8 on the chin to remove this Lich King with the smaller Spellstone, keeping the big one in his hand.
Yep.
I like that play quite a bit because he figures there's probably another Eternal Servitude in there somewhere.
Embrace
Ooh,
Darkness.
That's a good one.
Oh, on the Astral Tiger too. That is, I mean, if you're ever going to use Embrace Darkness, that's the one target probably to use it on. And
I
Ixlid
don't
into
know
the
that-
hand for Versika.
So, Wolf ended up using that Death Coil there. I don't know that I like that play very much. That seems just like a really solid removal spell that you'd want to use later. And, ooh.
Well, he got
Versika-
Versika to use his, so, you know, it works out.
bit of a miss attack there. Could have wanted to probably get in there for 4 damage, but prevents Nate from taking that Astral Tiger there. Probably pretty important to Versika's overall strategy.
Yeah.
that doesn't get taken.
I mean, in fairness, that's the kind of play that I make on a Friday night, too, where I'm so focused in on what I want to do that I forget things like, hey, I should attack first with this minion. So, I know that play real well.
Okay, gonna go with Death and Decay plus Holy Nova here to clear the board.
Yep.
Setting up for another Eternal Servitude, likely on that Lich King next turn, but this Ironwood or Iron Bark Protector, not a
big
card
boy.
I've seen in a long time, gonna come out able to contest the Lich King that would come out from this Eternal Servitude right away.
I mean, this is basically just a diet Lich King. This is like Crystal Lich King is what this is.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. So gonna go with the Power Word Shield here, kind of cycle through. I'm kind of thinking, so what is Nate's other win conditions if Versika's able to kind of manage all of his threats?
I would imagine it would be Anduin and a lot of cheap spells.
Okay. Pretty big Fungal Mancer there, but
Oh,
still
that's a good
takes
hit
out
on the
10-6. Yeah,
Obsidian statue.
It's pretty good.
I
there
want,
for
yeah,
Nate.
and Nate has things he can do here. He can drop another one. He can drop another Lich King. The Shadow Word Death will work. Yeah, Shadow Word Death and Eternal Servitude seems good. Those are
And
two
it
pretty good
seems-
choices.
Really? Okay. Ends up going with Obsidian Statue there. That's kind of an interesting choice. I would have thought the Lich King would have just been the pick, I
Yeah,
would think.
but he could. Well, I guess he can play either one from hands, right? But he can.
Yeah, but having
Yeah.
multiple Lich Kings getting you value over the course of the game, it just feels like, you know, the 4/8 is not as scary for Versika to deal with. So potentially, you know what I'm saying? Like, might be able to deal with the 4/8 and then you're not getting any value. It seems like it might take him a couple turns, but that's turns that like Nate could be getting value off the Lich King.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's it's a definitely an interesting decision. But I mean, looking at Versika's hand, I don't think it's going to matter much. Because, I mean, an Ironwood Golem's going to stall this out for one turn, but he can't even remove it with this Ironwood Golem coming down. I don't even know if you play it.
Probably not. You probably just have to pass here and hope that you draw like another swipe or something.
Yeah.
To be able to remove that.
Oh, and just concedes. Okay. Yeah.
I guess Obsidian Statue just as good as as Lich King there, because prompts the concession.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of an academic discussion by the time we were all done with it. But so that will be that'll be Nate going up 1-0 on Versika, and so that will take the priest out. So you don't have to have any more bad memories of Big Priest. We can just
Hey, I had some good memories. You got me to Legend 1 month with your Big Priest list.
I wear everybody
remember
down
that.
eventually.
Yeah,
I just
it's bound to
find
happen.
a stupid deck that I like, and then I badger people into playing it until they acknowledge that it's good. So so we have the mage and the warlock left for Nate, and then Rasika can go back to that druid or can go to the shaman or the warrior for the next game. So I like seeing that big pre-shell with the classic cards and just the Knights of the Frozen Throne cards. That was pretty cool.
So a little clarification that Steven Sensei said in chat is that it's just basic cards, no classic.
Okay.
So things without a symbol. So I assume
only cards that you get from leveling up your heroes against the Innkeeper.
Okay. That makes it even more interesting. Even less like wiggle room there, but you really have to like look at all of the sets and make a plan.
And it's funny, like you forget like how many of these classic cards are collectible. Like you get Swipe but no Wrath, and like Wrath is like a card that you would expect is a basic card, but that is a collectible common. So even some of those are pretty difficult decisions. But you know what's an easy decision, Bodicus?
What?
An easy decision is to support the United Hearthstone League Patreon. Because
that is a great decision.
Yeah, because that is how we get to do all these wonderful things and keep the league going. I mean, we're heading into playoffs next week. We are hopefully going to be casting all of those playoff matches as well. And those are going to be marathon best of 9 matches. We started the casting last year in the playoffs, you and I. And, now we have a whole team of casters. We have all these graphics. We have pick'em giveaways. And a lot of that comes from the community donating their time. But a lot of it also comes from your support. And the way that you can continue making the league be what you want it to be is by contributing and becoming a Patreon. Or a patron of the Patreon, I guess. I don't know. Is that a noun? A Patreon of the Patreon? I don't know.
I think a patron. Yes.
Yeah. It sounds too stupid to be a real word, so that's fine. But you can go find the Patreon for the league at patreon.com/UnitedHSLeague. You can get other perks, including access to a special patron-only channel in the Discord. Where you can, have access to the players and casters and other content creators. We want to make sure to thank Run, who is our patron of the month, for contributing. And you can also be the patron of the month by making a contribution over there. And it'll help us be able to take these class next to the next level. And, maybe we'll have someone working, keeping the casters in line so that they make sure that they're friends with all of the players before the game starts. That's something that your Patreon could... your patronage could enable. So that's just Friday Night Hearthstone is what that is. But anyway, so thank you again to Run for being a patron, and you too, viewers like you, please go and contribute so that we can make season 3 even better.
Yeah, I actually got to meet Run at DreamHack Austin, and it was awesome to meet her. She's just a real sweetheart, and we really greatly appreciate all of our patrons, and if you've ever considered it, there's no better time to do it than now.
Yep.
We're going into obviously the playoffs and coming up on season 3 will be here in no time. So it'd be great if you some of you listeners were able to join the patron.
Yeah. So why don't we let them get into the next game? I would do match analysis and what deck do you bring next, but I think that we can just kind of use a random number generator at this point to have that kind of discussion, because I don't know what exactly we'd be able to do with that. So I think we're just gonna let them get into it, and then we'll see what they decide to bring, and I will have the players on the correct ends of the play field this time for us, now that we're all set up. So we do have Rasika on the Shaman and Nate on the Warlock. I would be expecting some sort of a Q block variant
this hand
from Nate.
This hand from Nate Wolf. Well,
that's like the Warlock toolkit right there. That's it. Yeah. Let's just play Q block. Let's do it. So it looks like these are these are Ungoro cards from Versika. So we have Stonehill Defender, Gluttonous Ooze, Tidal Surge, Hot Spring Guardian. So it looks like it will probably be an Elemental Shaman from Versika, I would imagine. Expect a Kalamos.
Looks like it.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. You probably some Blaze Callers. Glacial Shard, that's an Ungoro card for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering. Okay, I was wondering how many demons Nate was actually going to be running in his deck. It looks like he's actually running quite a few. Surprised to see the Vulgar Homunculus and Possessed Lackey in the same deck.
Yeah, and the Hooked Reaver is interesting too. Again, we've seen with Evenlock, right? Like, it's not terrible when it comes back from Gul'dan. It's a 4/4 instead of a 7/7. But that's not, like, the worst thing in the world, either.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering... Ooh, there's a Spellstone. That's a great pickup for Nate Wolf there, right when he's about to play the Vulgar Homunculus.
This is almost not fair.
Yeah. So I wonder, I assume this means that Versika is now 100% holding the Gluttonous Ooze in his hand until he sees the weapon.
Yeah.
Because he knows that now it's going to be Kobolds and Catacombs, and that weapon is somewhere in Nate Wolf's deck.
Yeah. I can't imagine he's going to play that out. And can we just talk about how pretty that Golden Blaze Caller is for a second? Because that is a gorgeous card.
Oh, man. I have not seen that card in Golden before. It looks sweet.
Yeah,
I can't imagine. I just can't wait to see it come out. This is a really powerful curve. Fire Elemental into Blaze Caller. This is kind of right where you want to be.
Yeah,
it has an interesting decision here. Ends up wanting to play the Stonehill Defender. Potentially going to get an Elemental, but it seems like he has enough Elementals in hand. I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to go for something like a Witch's Apprentice this turn.
I guess it's a matter of what he wants in his hand. He's going to take that and then just get some value for next turn. Crushing Hand's really good against this deck.
Oh yeah, definitely a solid pickup there. Obviously, like, the Witch's Apprentice is fairly highly, very variable as to what you can get from it, but I think Crushing Hand is probably above average for what you would expect.
Yeah, it is gonna mess up his curve a little bit. He's gonna have to be careful with planning out the elementals and planning out the overload. That gets very complicated in a hurry. Meanwhile, over on Nate's side, he doesn't really have anything great to do right now. Think about playing out this Hooked Reaver just as a 4/4.
Yeah, I like
that's
this.
Fine.
It just lines up well against the other Stonehill, even though that's going to value trade into the Homunculus most likely. But, it's just a solid body. You get to probably coin a Lackey next turn if you want. You just have lots of options.
So, Versika's next two turns are probably laid out for him, right? He's almost certainly going Fire Elemental in the Blaze Caller. So the question is, what does he do this turn? Because he's got a Tidal Surge, Glacial Shard if he wants it. He's got Hot Spring Guardian, Flame Tongue if he wants it. I don't think he wants to Crushing Hand this turn, because there's not enough value to justify it. Oh, this is interesting, too. Okay, and then we get a Totem down also.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this.
This seems solid here. You know that your opponent does not have Defile, because that was a card in
Knights of the Frozen Throne. And he doesn't have Godfrey because that's in the Witchwood, so...
Yep.
He does have Spellstones, though.
Okay.
That's
Wants
fine.
to save that coin, he can go Lackey Coin Pact next turn if he wants, or just save the coin for, the Master Oak-Hark. The Oak-Hark is actually really sweet in this deck. You can pull out...
You'll pull out a Void Lord.
Yeah, Void Lords and
Possessed
Lackeys
Lackey.
And what is the two drop we just saw?
The Vulgar Homunculus. Yeah, and then you don't get hit by it too. That's not bad at all.
Kind of an interesting spot here for Nate. He definitely knows that there are going to be hexes coming out from Versika, but I guess the hex doesn't matter as much since you don't have access to Gul'dan.
Right, because that's Knights of the Frozen Throne, so you don't have Gul'dan. That's the one piece that you're missing other than the Defile. Hellfire, I believe, is a basic card.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, gonna go with Dread Infernal here. I like this. Sets up for the Shadow Bolt if Versika's able to deal with the Dread Infernal.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Ooh, Volcano. That's a sweet one.
That's nice, yeah.
A little bit awkward spot, though.
I mean, if you didn't want to use the Blaze Caller this turn, you could hit face, Hex and Hot Spring Guardian. And then you'd still have access to the Blaze Caller for next turn.
Yeah.
I think he's thinking that he doesn't really want to use this Blaze Caller yet, because it's not going to get him very much value, because it's not going to take that minion off the board.
Yeah, I actually kind of like going.
You could just go face
attack with attack with the 6/4 and then hex the Dread Infernal. But he needs to that he needs to start getting some damage in, because Void Lords are coming out in just a turn with the coin in hand. Yeah,
I might have liked him just going face with the taunt there. I mean, yes, Hellfire kind of ruins that plan if he has it, but I mean, you want to get out before those Void Lords get there. Obviously, the Hex is going to be earmarked for that Void Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But, and with the Dark Pact only doing 4 healing, maybe it's worth just kind of going face and letting the taunt soak something. But yeah, this Tidal Surge will answer that really nicely.
And then I expect to. So your opponent has not played the weapon yet. Is there any reason to not just run out the Gluttonous Ooze?
I feel like against this deck where the Doom Guards aren't coming down, maybe it's okay. Oh, here comes Master Oakheart.
Oh boy,
that's a turn. Okay.
And there's a Void Lord,
and that's gonna get hexed instantaneously.
Yep. Let's see.
So now what do you do with the rest of your
plan
turn
here? Yep.
Yeah, that crushing hand on the Oakheart, that's good.
Seems good.
Yeah, I mean, this Hot Spring Guardian can just be a 2/4 taunt, and that's fine.
I wonder if you just play a Firefly here and hero power.
Yeah.
What would you get? You could get a spell damage. I guess the spell damage is not super useful. Okay, ends up going with the Firefly play.
Yeah.
Kind of wants to get the value out of the Hot Spring Guardian.
Yeah,
doesn't really
that's fair.
Get a lot of options to do that right now.
And you don't really need to worry about putting 1/1s on the board, because Defile's not a card. So,
right.
So this other Possessed Lackey is going to come down. And a Kobold Librarian. Okay. So we're gonna just build a board of little dudes right now. Oh, that's Servant of Calamos.
There we go. Yeah,
wow.
That's what we need. Those are one of the big reasons to be playing a deck like this. Is the Servant of Calamos. I actually think you probably take Cauldron Elemental here.
I think you take Cauldron Elemental all day. Yeah. I mean, the only reason you would take the Stormwatcher is if you're running Rockbiter weapons in your deck, which I don't remember if those are basic or classic. Because then, with the Wind Fury, that could be like a little mini Doomhammer, but we don't know if he is or not. But the Cauldron Elemental is just good.
Yeah, I think I like this trade here a lot more than going face. The 2 damage is not super relevant right now.
There's Rin.
Rin's also a really good one. Man, there are some good.
Yeah. You forget
really good cards.
I mean, you don't forget because we know, but God, they gave Warlocks so much in Kobolds. Good grief. I mean, that's gonna get hexed too. I have to imagine.
And then Void Lord's just gonna come down.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a bad time. So you probably have to trade here and just go. You probably just go wide with elementals, right?
Yeah, because you want to drop that Cauldron Elemental next turn.
Cauldron and hopefully get a surprise lethal.
Yeah. I mean, he could be running Earthshock.
Yeah. Okay. Thinking about this Hot Spring Guardian.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited.
I might want to just play out both Flame Elementals. I mean, one of them's gonna die, right?
Too. Maybe playing around Hellfire.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this leaves room on the board, but those taunts are gonna die anyway.
There's the Void Lord.
Yeah. Here's Daddy's home.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we got a Blaze Caller.
Fire Elemental, rather. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So it does a little bit less damage than the Blaze Caller, unfortunately.
So let's see. This Cauldron Elemental could come down, give us a bonus 4 attack that gets us through the front half of the Void Lord, And then we can play some flame elementals behind it if we
Yeah.
want.
And then if they start to clear your board, then you volcano and drop some more stuff. I think that's fine.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
Cauldron Elemental.
You definitely
solid
want to get rid of the front half of this Void Lord because Carnivorous Cube is also a card that Nate can be playing. So
as we see two of them in his hand.
I mean that's Caster Vision talking, but that's also something that needs to be going through Versika's mind.
Oh yeah,
knowing that's a Kobold's card.
And there's the Dark Pact.
Okay, so this Spellstone's going to take out the 6/3 probably?
Yep. And we probably are Dark Pacting, or we're probably cubing and Dark Pacting, making a couple more Dread Infernals.
I would imagine so. We've already gone through both Void Lords, and they're not coming back with Gul'dan. Yeah, so we can trade off that 6/3.
Yep. So not nearly as impressive. Like, this is obviously quite powerful, but it's not nearly as impressive as, like, getting a Doom Guard or another Void Lord, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if the Void Lord if he was able to stick it on the Void Lord, it would, I mean, we've seen that plenty. We know how powerful that is. A pair of 6/6s is not bad, but...
Yeah, I wonder if he wanted to tap there. It's actually kind of funny. I actually think the Versika has the chance to run Nate out of resources.
Yeah, I mean, we still have 7 cards left in Nate's deck, but he doesn't have a way to turn that hero power around. Like, that's the big power of Gul'dan, is being able to say, okay, I'm done tapping this game. Now I can turn that into something else. That's why you used to play Jiraxis back in the day too, because you just reach a point where you couldn't tap anymore. You were down below 15, and then you can start making 6/6s. Now he really can't do anything with that hero power as we get later into the game because it just hurts him. Though tapping into Hooked Reaver is a thing that he can do.
I mean, but just look, like, he's almost... Oh, the darkness,
oh,
okay.
Man. Oh, I'm so happy we're casting this game.
You know what Volcano does not clear? The darkness.
Oh, man.
Alright, how many candles are getting drawn right now? Wicked good.
Well, he's got... I mean, Versika's still got half his deck left.
Yep.
So
and he has a Stonehill Defender.
Yeah, he's not gonna be. I mean, he can't run Manatide because Manatide's a classic card, not a basic card.
Right.
Can run Primalfin Totem.
Solid one.
I mean, I think you have to play the Stonehill Defender for starters.
Yeah,
I mean, unless you're gonna Volcano this board.
Try to get like a Lich King or something sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine you Volcano this board.
Ooh,
Alakir's good.
Alakir the Wind Lord. That's a solid one.
That's pretty good.
But this, how are we going to deal with this darkness?
I mean, I think you kill him before it matters, I think is how you deal with the darkness. I mean, that's a ways away. It can take a long time to draw those 3 candles with half your deck left.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just be on top.
You're not wrong. Ooh.
Hellfire's
not
nice.
actually a great draw. Well, you can actually like
you can get a full clear, yeah.
Value trade, cube, and Hellfire.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. And now this Alakir does not look terrible.
Oh, look at that! Wow.
That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of damage, and Nate's really gonna have no way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And he may not have any way to deal with it next turn. Siphon Soul's not an option. He's used both Spellstones, I believe.
Yep.
I don't know that Nate's going to be able to deal with this.
Will get taunt, though.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, Shadow Bolt's a card, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't quite deal with it, though. It can deal with the Flame Totem.
Yeah, or you just wait. Because... I mean, it's a question of, Shroombearer. Okay.
Nate is tapping a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Nature's gonna fatigue pretty soon if he's not careful.
Yeah. Ooh, at least to put the pack in the deck.
Oh, man, this is so good.
Okay, interesting. I figured the Versika might attack their volcano and then play Elise.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Let's
on
see,
Nate.
it was 12. It was, I guess it was one off.
Yeah.
So I guess that it's not the best chance to do that.
12. Yeah. I mean, he could have tried to roll spell damage and then do it, but that's still a 1 and 4. But yeah, there's the Skull of Minari right on time.
Slams it down. Oh, I thought that had to go face.
Yeah. So this volcano is going to do a lot of work.
Well,
no, it's not
heals
actually.
A minion. Yeah, it's actually
that Shroomber is going to help a lot actually.
Yeah. We need a second vault. Ooh, Darkness Candle 1.
Oh no, here we go.
Oh, but there's the pack. Okay. So what can we get from pack? We can get
Calamos,
or we can get File Spine Slayer.
Oh wow! Right now. Yeah. That is...
and we can we have the hero power to go with this Pterodax.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think you have to I think he's just figuring out which one of these he wants to kill with the Vile Spine.
Yeah. I mean, you could like double 4 here, but
yeah. I mean, if you get like Taunt and Divine Shield, you could hide the Fledgling behind it, maybe.
+3 health.
Yep.
And hoping for Taunt. Okay, gets the Taunt.
Okay.
I think you definitely want Taunt here. Just wants to put enough on the board where to make Nate scared.
Yeah, and then let Nate start trading off some of these resources, and then you can clean up with a volcano into a Valspine Slayer if you need to.
Yeah, because I think Nate's gonna have to push. Okay, is that just lethal actually? 12. I think that's lethal. He can just put in the Shroom Brewer, Hellfire, and then go face with the rest.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Exact lethal.
Oh boy. Oh poor that's gotta hurt.
Stings for Versika.
Yeah. That's a bad beat right there because Versika was literally like one turn away from just locking that game out, and Nate found a way right as time was expiring to get through that last wall, and I think if Versika I think he's gonna want that Vilespine Slayer back. I think if he Vilespine Slayers even one of the full house
trade and Volcano, and then all Nate has left is the Darkness, which he can try to find an answer for.
Yeah, I think that in retrospect, like I like the thought process, but he didn't really need to take that chance because all he needed to do was deal with that last board, and then Nate was going to be out of resources and he could do whatever. So he didn't really need to try to stick the Fledgling behind the taunt. But
yeah, I kind of see what he was thinking.
Yeah.
No, I think he was trying to like play 2 cards that turn, but he could have just played the Vilespine and the Fledgling still just to survive. I mean, I don't know what was left in his deck to be able to finish the game because he might have thought that he wasn't going to be able to answer the Darkness when it eventually came out. So
yeah, maybe he wanted to save the Vilespine for the Darkness and try to take out the rest of the board, but that's fair. But yeah, so that's it's unfortunate, and sometimes you get the pack and you just start seeing all these ridiculous lines, and you just want to try to make something happen. It's happened to me too. Like I get blinders on and I start seeing cute lines and I start making decisions that I would have liked back about a turn later. So
yep.
So we'll just remind you we have one more game this evening at 11:30 p.m. We have Rod versus who's Rod playing? I'm trying to bring up the site and it's not coming up.
Tonight is going to be as soon as I thought it was on there. Oh, here it is. Okay. Andrew is living versus Rod is tonight.
So that'll be fun. And as I understand it, they are, because they're both locked into their playoff or not playoff spots as it may be, they are making decks for each other and then having each other play those decks with the borrow decks feature.
Okay.
So that'll be a fun one to watch. So that's being cast tonight by Saucy Mailman and Lore Master Eve. So that'll be fun. That'll be at 11:30 Eastern. But we still have some more match left here, and so we have Nate with only that mage left, and Versika with all 3 classes. So I think we can let them go in and give them the green light to go from here on out, and let's see what Versika and Nate have for us.
Yeah, let's see what Nate's last set is. I wonder, what's his last class?
Mage?
It's going to be Mage.
I wonder if this is Witchwood cards, maybe? Maybe you start, maybe. Well, I guess not really. You don't have enough burn.
I mean, Ungoro's probably pretty solid, too. I wonder if there's enough to make... Well, no, Antonidas is a classic card. I was trying to think if you could make Quest Mage.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine he's probably going to be playing Secrets. He'll be playing Arcanologist. He'll be playing Primordial Glyph. There's a lot of good mage cards. I mean, it's like in the past now, but like people were calling for Primordial Glyph to be nerfed back when we were in the middle of the Ungoro meta because it was so good. So I'm not surprised to see him go with Ungoro, and he does get. He's going to be going with an Elemental Mage, it looks like, and Versika is going to be going with a Rush Warrior, utilizing some of those Witchwood cards, which gives him access to Town Crier, gives him Rabid Worgen, it gives him Darius Crowley, Rotten Applebaum. There comes Darius Crowley into the hand immediately. So I like this. I like this from Versika too. I like, leaning into the synergy that the Witchwood gave the Warrior.
Yep. Lots of solid choices there.
Best of Rudolph. It's following us.
We can't get away from it, which is good.
It's funny. I was thinking of you today because I was playing against a shaman, and they Unstable Evolution did to that. I'm like, oh, I know how that card works now. So Shimmering Tempest gonna come down for Nate. That is of course an elemental. I would expect we have Pyros in this deck as well. You see the Steam Surger in hand.
Probably serving a Kalamos to get more Pyros. I think Versika's gonna have a pretty big uphill battle, especially when with his play for the turn being shield block, and Nate gets to curve out into a procced Tolvir Stone Shaper, which is going to be pretty solid against a lot of what Versika has.
Though you know what? I would have liked to see him play the Steam Surger there instead, because that would preserve the Elemental chain. Now he's going to have no Elemental synergy going into that turn 4, and he's either going to have to play Naked Steam Surger. I mean, he can play the Water Elemental into the Steam Surger, but he could have done this next turn just the same. Maybe. And then still been able to get the value out of both. And with nothing on board, I mean, it's a Rush Warrior, but even then, you're not super scared about anything that Versika is going to be playing. And see, now he wanted to play that Steam Surger, but it's not going to come down. So now having to play the Water Elemental instead.
Yeah, and just a really awkward board state for Versika here. He's got a bunch of 4 and 5 drops in his hand that are pretty awkward.
Yep.
Not a really good way to clear this Tolvir.
Well, he's got the Arcanite Reaper. That's not bad.
Yeah. But with the Water Elemental on board, that's going to start checking his face, not going to be freezing it.
I mean, he's got a bunch of Rush minions. He can throw an Applebaum in the way. I don't think this is dire yet. I think it's not where the board state he'd like to be in, but it's not dire yet.
Yeah. You can just play this Flame Elemental here if you're Nate Wolf.
He's probably just holding it just in case he needs to activate a Blaze Call or something. I mean, you are going to get one off of that Flame Geyser, but I know that instinct. So the Festerroot Hulk. I would love to see this Korkron take out the 5/4.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where you want to be, and then play like Novice Engineer too.
Yeah, this isn't.
Or
terrible.
Actually just play like an Acidic Swamp Ooze.
Yeah, this at least either kills off the Steam Surger or boxes out the Water Elemental, though that Polymorph is going to handle that really nicely. And that's going to be another 8 damage to face. Definitely would have liked to see the Korkron come out, and then with the Novice Engineer.
Ooh, decides to trade five potential face damage to trade with the sheep. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, splitting Fester Root. There's a card that we haven't seen before. I
Definitely
like this.
a really late game powerhouse.
Yeah.
If Versika can somehow stabilize this board, it could come out and really put a hurt on Nate Wolf. Like, there's not a whole lot of silence things that he could be doing.
Yeah. I would love to see this Korkron take out the 2-1 now. I mean, it's still going to get pinged off, but...
Looks like he's going to draw with Novice, and I assume play an Acidic Swamp Ooze.
Oh, he's just going to armor up. I mean, I could see him getting a little bit concerned. I mean, he's at 21, but he's been getting beaten up pretty well this game. And then that is a Servant of Calamos that's glowing in Nate's hand.
Yep. Ooh,
and those are some good elemental ones. Yeah, those are some really good ones. You're going to get a Primordial.
I think this is a bit off theme though. Like, are you allowed to pick Bonfire that's from another set? Really?
Listen, I don't make the rules. I just call the plays. So I think what Versika's going for is this splitting Fester Root and Fester Root Hulk synergy, where he's going to get a whole bunch of little bodies on board and then drop the Fester Root Hulk and make that. I think that's how Blizzard intended that card to work. I guess we'll see if that's actually a viable strategy or not.
Yeah, this polymorph though.
Yeah. Oh, looks like he's just gonna.
He's just gonna freeze it for a turn.
Yeah.
Okay. This is fine. I mean, he just. I figured you might play a Flame Elemental as Brawl, because Brawl is a classic.
No,
card,
Brawl is an epic. It's Brawl's an epic. It's classic, so he can't.
So
use that.
So that's not gonna be. Be there.
Yeah, it's Versika's starting to run out of options here. Getting frozen out every turn with the weapon is not helping him, and these rush minions are just not big enough.
Yep. Just kind of the way this ended up lining up is not where Versika wanted to be. He's in a rough spot here.
He is.
I don't really know what we could do. Like, we could Doll Master Dorian and then Gnomish Inventor and pray for something sweet with Taunt.
I mean, I think you need to run this into something and execute it. I think that's kind of where we are right now. Yeah. I guess it's the Bonfire Elemental. I mean, unless you want to get rid of the Water Elemental to try to, but I mean, you're putting yourself at risk. I guess either way, of Fireball ending the game.
Yeah,
I think you probably need. Yeah, I mean, and there it is coming right into the hand. Yeah, I think you needed to. I guess even the armor up wasn't going to help there, and then the Fireball is just going to end it.
Yep.
Very quick
Nate
3-0.
Wolf's gonna make quick work of Versika. It seems like Versika had a lot of really good ideas, but they just weren't able to really come to fruition in these matches. And I mean, I kind of just saw Nate Wolf's hand for this game, and it was like, oh, that curve is gross. And then it just happened to line up really well against all of Versika's cards.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm disappointed to see Elemental Mage get a win finally.
You obviously don't watch enough Brian Kibler.
I've been waiting so long for that to happen. Okay, so do you want to see if they can if they want to join us for a couple minutes, and then we'll wrap up from here. Okay, and I guess that went a little bit quicker than the last match, so.
Yeah. And we don't have Rod here talking for hours.
Well,
Rod will be Rod.
He has to go prep for his match, So.
Yeah, it looks like Versika said he's good. Just want to check. Oh, Nate's on mobile, so I wonder if he's going to be able to.
Well, that doesn't mean he's not in front of his computer, though.
Yeah, he's offline now.
Oh, that's weird. What is that?
Yeah, Versika says he's ready to start the call. I don't know if we want to just start it with Nate in there and see.
Yeah, I think we just do that, and he can join when he's ready. Yeah.
Okay, I'll end this one and you start up
Okay, sounds
the
good.
next one.
Yep. Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Well, that was super fun.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I get that water elemental kind of prevented.
Why do you feel bad? I had a good time.
I had a good time too. I was just telling Versika, I absolutely love that shaman elemental deck.
Yeah, that was. I was hoping to see Calamos come in and save the day, and
Oh, that's what I was waiting for. Either that or a Blaze Caller. Either one.
yeah. Can I ask you about the pack turn, because I think I was seeing the same play that you saw, and I was also seeing. I think obviously we saw what happened with the Hellfire being the last card in the deck, but was there a thought to, like, what were you thinking about, like, that you needed to deal with some of that damage, you just kind of needed to close out the game before he beat you up, or what was your thought process with that turn?
So I knew he was already at fatigue, and I knew if I could survive that turn, that I had the game. Basically I looked at my outs, and I needed that volcano to hit.
Yeah.
And I needed it to clear. So I really needed to take just a couple more points of health off of what he had on the board. And if he had to use those to clear through a taunt, I could still pull it out. But what was I scared of?
It seemed like you were about to use the Vilespine Slayer, but then I think it seemed like you didn't end up using it because you're like, well, if the darkness comes out next turn exactly, then he can still kill me with the darkness, so I'll hold this Vilespine Slayer and try to put a taunt in the way, and then if I survive, then I can Volcano and, like, clear the darkness or something along those
That was exactly it.
Yeah.
I was just like, so what are my chances? I was like, what can't I deal with? And I knew I couldn't deal with the darkness. And it's like the pack gods gifted me a way to deal with the darkness. So I was just like, okay, so this pretty much has to stay. And I thought, I was just like, if I can just throw the taunt out, then he has to run one of them in. I'm still alive for the next turn. I'll Volcano, and then the game's over.
Yeah. It just happened that Hellfire was that last card in the deck, and yeah, that's just unfortunate. But
well, I was tracking it, and I thought that the second Hellfire had already been played. I thought about Hellfire, and I'm just like, no, he's already played two. So I lost track of. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting, especially like from us casting it, is just trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what do we know he doesn't have access to? Because that's really what's interesting. At least, I mean, I won't speak for you, Bob, but for me, it's like, okay, well, we know he doesn't have Defile. We know he doesn't have Gul'dan. What does he have that he can use? And trying to remember which cards are classic and which cards are basic from our perspective, which is not easy when you're in the middle of the match. Like, is that a classic card or is that a basic card? I don't remember.
The basic cards as a whole are not very impressive either.
Yeah, and we were talking about that before the match. It's like going back and having to use the selector in the collection builder just to remember what the basic cards are, and then you're looking through and you're just like, wow. So there's no real removal. There's no silence. It's just like, ooh. So one of the reasons I picked Shaman was because of Hex. And then I had totally forgotten that Polymorph was a mage basic card.
Yeah.
So I went with Warrior because of Execute. And I went the Druid. I was just like, I feel like healing is going to be powerful. So what's better than healing? And that's armoring up. So I was just like, there's the armor. So
just, I mean, obviously it worked out this way, but you made an agreement this was still standard, right? Because obviously if it was wild, then you'd be going with Jades all day.
Yeah, so if like I don't have a wild collection,
Oh, okay.
I pretty much dusted most of my wild stuff to make
Don't
my
say
new
that.
stuff.
Nate can hear you.
I know, and I know it upsets Nate. But one of the things is, we on our show, we had a sponsor that was greatly affected by last year's hurricane, and so they were responsible for assisting in buying the new packs. And I'm in the middle of a job transition, so this expansion was the least amount of packs I was able to actually purchase since we've been doing Hero Power. So this time was a pretty big hit to the collection. It just so happens that this was the set that had the most viable decks.
Right.
So, since we play those decks on the show as our play portion, it's like, well, I have to be ready to play anything. So Witchwood is actually the first collection that I have almost all the cards for, but it pretty much cost me what I had left in Wild.
Yeah, I hear that, and it's a tough decision that you have to make sometimes, and like I know that I do whatever I can to keep my wild cards around, but I know not everyone's able to do that and still stay competitive. So
yeah,
I still have Loatheb, I still have Sludge Belcher, and I still have a new Brock.
Yeah, so you keep the important ones. Yeah. I mean, you can always get them back later if you need to anyway, but...
Yeah.
So, Nate, I wanted to ask you about your Priest deck. I saw it obviously had the statues and Lich King. Did it have... What were the other big minions, or was that it? Was it just those three?
The only other minion was the Stormwind Champion.
I don't know why I thought you like mind visioned that. I guess it wasn't in Versika's deck, so
I mind visioned. I got his Fungalmancer, and I got something else that I don't remember.
The Starfire.
Oh, it was the Starfire
for clearing the Tazdingo.
Yeah.
It was funny. He cast the first one. I'm like, really? Opening hand? And he cast the second one. I was like, you had both?
My plan for that was like, if I can just stall long enough, the only minions in that, it was the two statues, the Lich King and the Stormwind Champion, and that was it. I mean, it was like a janky version of Big Priest.
Yeah, I picked up on that right away, and it made my heart happy.
He must have known that Wicked Good was going to cast his match tonight. So
need to pander to the casters,
Right? The thing that was going through my head when I made these was just that it was apparent early on that the only that there's no silence.
Yeah.
So I could get away with maybe. I mean, there's some removal, but there's no silence. So I was like, oh, I can use cubes. I can use like Obsidian statue and maybe be okay. But I didn't realize, especially playing Wild for the most part, I don't normally separate cards by expansion. Yeah. I always think of it, everything's a free-for-all. And so this was, it was difficult trying to figure out what went well with what. And I had made 2 decks for each of these classes. Like I had made, with Mage, I had made a version that was a more like big spell type of thing, except there's not really very many big spells. And I had a priest that was sort of like an inner fire priest, except there's no inner fire, so it was reliant on Lady in White. So I was like, okay, if I can hard mulligan for Lady in White, but this one was a little bit better, I thought. So
you could have gone with Bone Drake,
That's true.
Yeah, that's something you just keep bringing that back and just get more dragons, and that could have. I mean, Embrace Darkness was ambitious, though. I have to give you props for actually getting use out of that card.
It was the first time that I've ever used it in my whole life.
It was funny because we were in voice chat through the whole game, and he played that. I was just like, really, Nate, really. And so I was actually so caught off guard. I think I forgot to attack.
Yeah,
my time before I killed it.
Yeah.
I've had those turns, and
I was like, I've got to get rid of. How do I get rid of this tiger? I can't let him have this. What's my Ugin Summons gonna pull?
So I mean, we didn't get to see much of the Druid deck other than just big minions. So what was the idea with that?
It was to armor up and just apply constant pressure. I mean, I feel like it probably would have done pretty well against the mage, but not that the warlock. I was really impressed with the warlock deck.
Yeah.
I feel like not only was that the best match of the three, but I feel like out of the 6 decks brought, those were probably the 2 least janky. I mean, they were probably the 2 that were closest to the metas that they kind of come out of. So it was cool that those 2 decks kind of got an opportunity to shine against one another. Nate and I were talking earlier. It's like you can't take these on the ladder in practice. You can't even really practice them in casual. So it's like you play against the innkeeper. You theory craft. You're like, what are you going to do in this turn? What are you going to do in that turn? But without being able to practice them at all, you kind of go in blind and you're like, hope this works.
Okay, kids, we're gonna learn a game called Hearthstone because Daddy needs to prepare for a tournament tonight.
Exactly right. But we went back and forth in Twitter and Discord. About do we want to include the standard card or the classic cards, or do we just want it to be basic? But making it just basic made the deck building part of it so much tougher.
Yeah.
And I feel like it made for a much more interesting vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think that if you have access to some of those classic cards, like if you were able to put Doom Guards into that Q block, like it wouldn't even have been a fair fight, basically.
Yeah.
Like the fact you had to do that without the Doom Guards and find other things to do with the Skull of the Minari, I think that made it much more interesting than if you were using the whole classic set. I mean, it's still 400 some odd cards.
Right. Well, and there was no Death Knight either, so there was I kept wanting to like cube something, and the cards that I wanted to cube, he kept hexing.
That's okay. Cubing those dang infernals worked just fine for me.
But just think about how much worse it would have been if he had Hagatha and he was getting all kinds of extra hexes or avalanches.
That's true.
I held on to that ooze for so long. I'm like, he's got to be playing Skull. He's got to be playing Skull. If he ran himself out of demons.
He was. He definitely was playing Skull. It just happened to be the second to last card in his deck.
Yeah. He played it like, Nate, you had Skull. He's like, yeah, but I don't have anything that's going to play off of it.
All right. So anything you wanted to call out, or anything we didn't get to see in any of those decks that was interesting that you would have liked us to be able to see?
Well, Festering Root into Dollmaster is really fun if you ever get it to work.
So is that the one that splits into the 2/2s and the 1/1s? Or yeah, okay. I could say. I mean, I knew it seemed like Dollmaster had a plan, but it seemed like his plan never got to get off the ground, unfortunately. But
and I mean, Festering Hulk on top of Dollmaster 2 is I mean, they tend to get rid of it. Dollmaster is pretty much in there for removal, and that one, it's like, we can't let that live. If you let it live, it's disgusting.
I don't know what he's going to do, but whatever it is, it's going to be bad, so I don't want to deal with it.
Pretty much.
But no, that was really, I mean, you guys pretty much got to see all the Shaman deck. I think it was a bunch of 2. So Calamos was the only thing really, like Calamos and another Blaze Caller.
Yeah, and I think we expected that would be in there. I mean, if you're running all those elementals, you may as well play Calamos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. We didn't get to see much of Nate's Mage deck because it just rolled me. Yeah. So Water Elemental. I totally forgot Water Elemental was basic.
Yeah, I would assume Pyros was in there somewhere.
Pyros was in there. There were a couple of Blaze Callers. I think that's. I mean, it's pretty much just the like mid-rangey elemental stuff. The one that gets Divine Shield, and then the one that discovers an elemental.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your opening hand was just quite very, very powerful. Like, what is it? The 4-drop when you have an elemental curving into it. The Shaper is just
and having the coin. Yep. Having the coin helped me a lot too, because I could keep both 4-drops, and I kind of debated about that, but it worked. It was that and then my first card draw was the Firefly, so it just curved out really, really nicely.
Yeah, and
I did have Azalina Soul Thief in that warrior deck.
See, that's information that we need.
yeah. I was just trying to think. I was like, no, wait, there was one, because that one had a lot of card draw in it, so I drew through the deck pretty fast.
Yeah.
Did it have Hench Clan Thug in it, or did you not know?
Using my weapon anyway.
Yeah, because most of the weapons are collectible cards.
Mm.
No, I had the War Axe and the.
Oh, this is the warrior, not the
Arcanite Reaper.
Yeah.
But Nate just kept freezing me.
Yeah, yep. That water elemental. He was a bastard. That water elemental.
Yeah, he was the MVP. Yeah.
MVP for sure.
All right. Well, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you online, and we'll let these people go so we can get set up for the next match coming up a little bit later.
Yeah, we got one more tonight.
Yeah. So Nate, where can people find you?
Okay, yeah, cool. Hey, first, let me give a big shout out to my wife Jill and my son Gavin, because they're watching downstairs, and I love you both. Thanks for watching and supporting. As far as me, you can find me on Twitter. It's at NateWolfHS. I'm part of the show Into the Wild, the Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast, and you can find us at Into the Wild HS. Also, you can find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/IntoTheWildHS, and on Discord at discord.me/IntoTheWildHS. You can get the show on iTunes or Stitcher, or directly from radiocircus.net. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, and Versika, where can people find you?
All right, you can find me on Twitter at Versika Gaming, and you can find me every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern on Hero Power. And you can find Hero Power at heropowerhs.com. That's our website where you can find all our shows and all our content. And then I've got some new content coming out. In fact, Wicked Good, you're part of that. And I've got plans for Nate on that as well. Cooking up some wild game there.
Sounds very exciting.
We can't talk about it yet, but I am very excited for what's coming, and I think once
cool.
you'll see it, you'll be.
In fact, when we get off here, I'm going to start working on that.
Yeah,
so.
I actually have some research to do on Netflix or Hulu or wherever I'm going to find that. Bodicus, where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Twitter. I'm at BodicusHS, and probably going to do some streaming sometime this weekend. That's going to be twitch.tv/Bodicus.
All right, and you can find me at Wicked Good. You can also find my podcast Off Curve at offcurve.com, where I talk about Hearthstone while I'm driving home, and occasionally see people pulling Virtua Fighter 2 cabinets off of flatbed trucks while I'm driving home, so that's fun.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
And that's going to do it for us. So come back. I believe it is 11:30 Eastern. We have Andrew and Rod, and that will be cast by Saucy Mailman and Lore Master Eve. And on behalf of everyone, have a great night, and enjoy the next game and enjoy the next match.